Okay, so I have the Öhlins RXF36 M.2. This is air sprung fork, and I want to show you how you can open it, how you can take the oil out of the damper, what the damper looks like, and all kinds of that. So I'm changing the oil to the damper. I'm not gonna service the lower legs. I've been doing that before. I put fox oil inside, and you shouldn't do that. So I'm trying a different one. This is Motul factory oil. It's 100% synthetic. So this is what I'm going to put inside. Obviously Öhlins oil fits the Öhlins fork, but that one's cheaper. And that one I can get from the local store. And I'll just see what happens. So, tools. I need like a 40mm socket that's quite thin. Because if it's too thick, it will not fit on the bolts in the fork leg. So I'm trying not to lose too much oil. Maybe I'll just drain it, because to take the damper out I need to take the lower legs. I have this kind of like separator thingy in the lower leg that keeps the damper in place, so I have to take the lower leg off so I can unclip the separator from the stanchion. So let's see. Well, first I want to take the cap off, and you need to put it on the lock position, and then there's like two holes. There's like a hole in there, and there's another one hole in there. And you stick a 2mm Allen key and you open it up. Yeah. And then it just comes straight up. So it uses a pinching mechanism, like there's Allen key on both sides, and they clamp the shaft, and then there's like a Allen key in the middle for the low speed compression. And you don't have to take this one off. All the clicks are in here. This one is for the high speed compression, and the clicks for the low speed compression are in the cap. So all of the clicks are here. So that's how it looks like when the top cap is removed. And now I'm going to take this rebound and adjuster off, and take a wrench. I think it's 14, but yeah, put it in a wrench, and then you just twist in the middle. Maybe you should turn it all the way first. So that's very slow, that's very fast. Turn it all the way fast. So that was 10 clicks for me. So I'll just remember it was 10 clicks for the low speed. Then you use the 40mm. I think this is like a for spark plugs or something, but it goes in here. open that one. This one doesn't need to come off. Like there's a air gap for the air spring lower section. You don't need to take that off. I'm not gonna open the air spring. I'm just gonna open the bolt. The other one, so there's like these are identical, I believe, so it doesn't matter which one you put on which. Press it down. That side went easy. Yeah, that side went too. Now I'm going to take a bucket and lift up the fork. And I will put it on the floor to drain. Okay, so that's most of the stuff off. You can probably do some cleaning here while you're at it. And to get the damper, this is the damper side, there's a Circlip here. And can I get it? Oh, there's a Circlip. I need to remove the Circlip and then I will open the top cap with the cassette tool. Then I will just raise it up from here. So it needs to be opening Circlip pliers. So that's the Circlip. This is the separator, like this one separates the lower chamber and the upper chamber in here. So when the damper does the bleeding, it will bleed in the upper chamber. So there might be oil in the upper chamber. Some folks might not have this, and then you can just remove the damper by unscrewing the top cap and unscrewing the bottom one. So no, it doesn't look like it's moving anywhere, so I think I can just wiggle it up. Yeah, there's oil coming from inside. Oh, there's lots of oil coming from inside. I'm just gonna wipe the damper. So, and what are we going to do next? We need to clamp this thing, and then we use the cassette tool on this one. But I will warm this up with some kind, maybe a lighter or something. So I clamped the one on the golden ring. I don't think it will need a lot of force to open it, but I will go on fetch like a lighter. Yeah, maybe I'm just opening it a little bit. I'm just gonna go around it a little bit. All of this white stuff you can see in the cap, it's like thread lock, so it might be really quite tight in there. It's not like a red thread lock that you need to heat to make it open, but the blue one will get softer too by heating it. And I don't have the soft jaws for this, but I think it will open without soft jaws. And now that it's open, this cap is spring loaded. Oh, it melted a little bit. I'll use soft jaws, put some tape on it or something. So when I twist this all the way out, it will just want to come up. So, and there's lots of oil coming out. And there's a nylon cap and the spring. And now I can take this yellow thing down. There's like a lock ring here. I will take the lock ring. That's a lock ring. I will take the lock ring off. And that's a nice sound. That's a nasty sound. But there's your lock ring. Once your lock ring is removed, the yellow locking cap should just come up. Like that. And now there's the internal floating piston inside here. And now we need to open the bottom one. And that one is not tight. I don't know, I don't think I had Loctite in there. But to open the bottom one, you will need this Öhlins clamping thing. I will just put it up so you can see the number. And for this you need it to be like completely without oil. Or it will just slip in the vices. This is isopropyl alcohol and distilled water in here. I usually mix them like 50-50, but since I added some in there, it might not be that. Okay, so now that's tight. I'm just gonna open the cap in the bottom. That one, all of the oil will come out. almost forgot this thing. What you want to do before you taking this thing off, you want to put this thing back on, tighten it, and now you turn it to open position. So yeah, now it's on the open position. And also turn the low speed compression completely open. So is it open? Yeah. And there's gonna be lots of oil coming through here. Oh, the internal floating piston appears to have come with this damper thing. So this is the internal floating piston. Usually it sits in the outer tube, so you have to push it out with something like a plastic thing or a wooden thing. So this is the internal tube, and I will try to show you how it looks like. So that's like the compression damping, and it has the valving here. And we're gonna take this one out with the soft jaws, because this one has thread lock. Also the one in the bottom, like this cap, the threads in this one don't have thread lock, so this is why it's not that hard locked, but it doesn't need to be, because it just can't move inside. But it has thread lock here, like this one has threads that go in this tube, and they have thread lock. So we're going to try to pump the remaining oil out. And now we need to clean it really well to clamp it on the soft jaws. So I'm cleaning this shaft with this isopropyl alcohol, so it's completely clean of oil. We never want oil in there. And so I'm gonna use this one. It is really thin here, so you have to be careful. Oh, I want to heat it up a tiny bit. I think the compression shim stack is probably here, but this is just a check valve. And that's probably a check valve, and this shim stack is here on this. But this is the compression side. There's some oil in there, I'm gonna pour it out. And this one is 14, so no, 30. This is the rebound side, and I think this is the rebound shim stack on top of the piston, and then there's the check valve on the bottom, but I'm not completely sure. But that doesn't matter, we're just cleaning it up. Spray some cleaning agent in there. So now it should be clean, yeah. So that one is clean. And how to get it back? I figured that the valving in this piston head will let it go both ways. So I'm gonna just thread this back and tape the end, so there will be no oil coming through here. So there's thread lock in the grooves. So I'm just gonna jam it in. I'm gonna put a tape here. Then I'm gonna put it in the holder, and then I'm gonna pour the fork oil in. So I'm just gonna put it so I can see what's happening in there. I'm gonna lower it a little bit. There will be bubbles inside. I'm gonna cycle the piston, peer in there, and there's really quite a lot of bubbles coming. So it's working, I guess. So I guess I'm happy with that. I'm gonna fill it up to the top. Like totally up to the top. I'm gonna take the lid off the bottle, and I'm gonna put this one in there so I can get it's somewhat saturated with the suspension fluid. Also, this one is filled up to the brim, and I'm just gonna put the top cap on there really fast. And then I'm gonna close that one. And it doesn't go that further, so that's fine. So that's the inside part done. Now we need to put the inside tube to the outside tube. Part that has this locking ring, it's the top part, and I seem to have marked the top part with the locking ring, but yeah, that's gonna happen. And now I'm gonna turn the inner tube upside down. I'm gonna remove the tape and insert it to the outer tube. And that one was the top part. This one doesn't have the lock ring, so that's the bottom part. And that's 13. And now I need to clean this one and this one really properly, because there was oil coming on this one when I put the top cap on the inner tube. So now we have to bleed the outer tube. So the outer tube has a bleed port, and the bleed port is right there. So I'm going to put some tape over the bleed port. And now I'm going to put oil in the outer tube. It needs to be past the top cap of the inner tube. And the same thing. Now I'm going to shine a light with the flashlight inside, and I'm gonna cycle this thing. And there will be bubbles coming out. If it's really hard to move the piston, then your fork is locked and you forgot to open the compression side. This high-speed compression shaft doesn't have any kind of locking thing, so you really need to pinch it quite hard to rotate it, so you have to use the cap. So there's quite a lot of bubbles coming out. I'm gonna tap a little bit on the side of the shaft with the side of the cylinder, the outer tube, with the rubber end. All of the major bubbles have gone. So I think that's a proper bleed for that. And now I'm going to fill this up to the brim and put the internal floating piston inside from this end. And the internal floating piston doesn't want to go inside because I blocked the bleeding port. Piston all the way inside, and this is how far the internal floating piston will go. Now I will push it downwards while I'm pulling the rebound shaft, and it should go in, yeah. And it doesn't want to go any further, but it's over the bleed hole. So what I'm going to do next, I will take this out. Now we don't need the clamps anymore. So it's like final stages. I will turn the hole so that it's up. Remove the tape, find the draining hole and make sure it's up. And now I'm trying to push the internal floating piston in. That's gonna happen. It's gonna squirt oil when it's going in. And I'm just gonna keep the cloth on top of it. So that it will not spray my face. I think I can see the piston through the hole, so it's as far as it will go. And now I want to put the yellow thing back in. And I want to put the lock ring in there. Now the lock ring is in place. This one comes up. And so I changed the battery. And I was cleaning the inside of this yellow thing, maybe clean it before clamping it in. And maybe use the tape on the yellow ring before clamping it down. But we don't need to clamp it yet. Now we're just going to push the spring inside. And there's going to probably be some more of this oil coming through. And now that it's hand tight, I'm going to clamp it down. Put some final tightening on the Now there's too much oil in the damper. So what will happen? Now when we push the shaft in, the extra oil will come out, and we want to make sure the hole is upright so that the extra oil and all of the remaining air can escape. And now it's done. It will air itself more while it's running, so I'm just gonna put it in, and now I will tighten it so the lip for the Circlip will come on top of this. So that's tight. And now the edge of this thing should be on that side. Well, it might be a little bit too high, so I have to push it down a little bit. Yep. And now I can put the Circlip in. And the Circlip is in. And I'm using Fox 20 on the lower legs because I have that one. And I don't think it will be a problem because there's like a separation between these parts of oil, but I guess you could put like the 5/8 oil on this leg. Well, maybe I'm gonna do that. Let's see what happens then. So the damper side 2 to 5 mils of oil. That's 4.5. Air spring side 10 milliliters. That's 5. That's 10. And the round part goes down. Yeah, it's definitely rotated. I think it's done. Done with that side and done with that side. So there's like edge that goes to this edge. Like a flathead screwdriver. Yeah, that's working. So I'll just tighten it. And we had 10 clicks, so one last thing about the top cap, you might have to put it in like this and then turn it clockwise. You want it to be completely locked out, and when it's completely locked out and you can take it out, just if it's like if it's like that, if the screw is here, you can't take it out. So I have to turn it all the way clockwise as much as you can while still being able to get it out. And when it's all the way clockwise like this, it can't go any further. Then you take it out, allowing it to pointing like, well, if you're looking at the bicycle side. Like if this is your bicycle view, it should point at 9 o'clock when it's locked and 6 o'clock when it's opened.